Okay. This is the vibes for today. Mari. Bro. You know, Babo, we can't talk shit about Babo, bro, because the raza loves Babo, way.
Yeah.
But I've been a fan of Babo since he was in Cartel de Santa, way.
Mm-hmm.
You were never really
I've
into...
never been the biggest fan of their music, tell you the truth, man.
Yeah. He's not the best rapper, way, but the vato has something, way.
Yo, lazy. I know the news that recently came out about Babo, bro. I know you ain't trying to go there, man.
No, I ain't talking about what he has in his pants, way. But you could tell, you know, the vato did change a lot, way. When he used to be in Cartel de Santa, way,
yeah,
he wasn't all fit. I don't remember him being all into fitness like that. Now the motherfucker, dude, he's like a whole fitness dude, way.
Yeah, well, I think that's the trend nowadays, way. Like everybody, whether from actors to rappers to anybody, bro, influencers, like being fit is like the thing to be now. Like, you know, that goes along with success, right? Like before.
¿Qué te pasó a ti, güey?
I haven't reached that success yet.
Still got man tits on you, man.
Yo, this guy. So it's like nowadays people match success with fitness, bro. Like if you living right, you're getting money, you know, your looks gotta be matching it, man. So I mean, we see that in everything. Like a lot of actors or even anybody, bro, from comedians to rappers to musicians, like they start off and they're like, some of them are overweight or they're heavy or, you know, they don't dress the best or whatever. And then once they reach that success, bro, like they lose weight, they slim down, they have a lot more style, all that, bro. You know. So I think that's something that goes along with Babo too, man.
Yeah, but you know, I still go check out his music. You know, this song's going like viral on TikTok, way.
Yeah, has it dropped yet? Because I know they keep saying it's gonna drop.
It's all like that same recording right there when they're in the car just jamming to it, right? But it just went viral, way. It went viral. You know about videos going viral on TikTok, way?
A few, man.
A little bit
a little bit about that.
And you know, just checking it out. I go to YouTube. I'm like, okay, what's this about to drop? You know, recently, way, bro, millions upon millions of views, way,
on that clip, right?
Not just that clip, but even his prior song, which I'm not the biggest fan. My bad to the raza that fucks with Babo heavy.
Well, I mean, we hadn't talked about it, way, but it's like Babo, he has Onlyfans now.
Not my mess.
Yeah. He has OnlyFans now, so
he's showing off the D.
He's showing everything, bro.
Are you a member, way?
Nah, way.
I was about to make a joke.
yo, lazy. Take it easy. Nah, so you know, Babo, he's kind of turning into a porn star, way. You know what I mean? But one of the reasons he said that he's starting to put his music up on OnlyFans now instead of YouTube is because YouTube would take a lot of his music down because of like the sexual content or even I think some of the shit he says, right?
Cursing.
Cursing is just too...
TikTok. I mean, not TikTok. YouTube. I'm not exact sure on the time, but I think it's 5 minutes. If your video curses 5 minutes within the first 5 minutes, they'll unmonetize it.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So now
that's what's been happening to us.
Yeah, wait, what happened? I used to collect the fat check. We fucked up the bag.
Oh shit.
You know, but if you pay attention to like some of the big podcasts that are out there, way, you'll start seeing them annoying as the bleeping or the, you know, when they have them little
the bleeps
or just blank spaces, you know, just covering. And it's like it takes away from listening to a podcast, way.
I didn't know that though. So like the first 5 minutes.
The first 5 minutes. I could be wrong. It could be like the first 5 to 10 minutes.
Okay. Yeah. I've heard about that. Like YouTube videos that curse a lot. They get paid less on ads, hip hop and like hip hop based podcasts to get paid a little less than other podcasts. Like if you're like a real estate podcast or like a DIY do it yourself podcast, like with anything, those people monetize a lot, bro, because there's a long view, like long hours of viewing. It's clean, and they can put a lot of like ads that can fit any family, right? Like whether you're single, whether you have a family, kids, or anything, right? So I've heard about that. But that's what Babo had said, bro. He said he got tired of some of his music not being taken down from YouTube. So the motherfucker created his OnlyFans way, right? So now he's releasing his music off of OnlyFans.
Let's check. Wait, let's see if we can see what the fuck's going on.
Yo, man, no,
Bro,
but
they don't give free content. Wait,
no. What I'm saying, let me finish. That motherfucker's like, I mean, cause I seen the clip way. This motherfucker's like banging two chicks on that video way.
Yeah, I'm not gonna go. I'm gonna just go. I'm pretty sure you could just see how many subscribers he got.
Oh, I thought you were gonna put the video on, bro. I ain't trying to watch porn in here with another dude, man. That's not what I'm doing at this age, bro.
It's gonna turn from OnlyFans to OnlyMans.
Yo.
No, I just want to see. I think you can be. I think you're able to see. Fuck! You can't even log in. Wait. Yeah, you can't even. Let me see if there's a search.
But that shit went talking about viral stuff on TikTok. Those clips went viral on TikTok way. Like his song, or like there was TikTok videos that went viral where like people were showing the video to like their parents or to like and stuff like that. I'm like, yo, I don't know who gets along with their parents like that, but they'll be like showing the parents the video, because not only is he like, it's like porn now, right? Because he's like, it's a music video, but he's banging some chicks on there, and I think the crazier thing about this is that he added like what they call perlas, right? He added some pearls to his dick, way. You know what I mean? So
ladies love diamonds and pearls.
That's what I'm saying. Wait, so yeah, so that was the big thing, right?
You're getting a little hot, bro.
Man, talking this in a room with another dude.
¿Qué te hizo ese video?
It's a little weird, man.
¿Qué te hizo ese video?
Nah, man. So yeah, obviously, bro, you motherfuckers get curious, bro. So I'm like, let's see what the big fuss is about, right? So I found the link, man. I saw the video, man. But yeah, that's new to me, bro. I didn't know dudes could do that, right? Like put pearls on their dick, bro. Like, and then I found
it's like a piercing.
It's something like that because it's permanent. You know what I mean?
No mames.
Yeah, it's permanent until you gotta get it. You gotta get them put in, and I'm guessing, yeah, you obviously have to get them put out, right? So
it's just like a bumpy dick, then, right?
Yeah, bro. It
looks like a fucking pickle,
something like that, bro. It's just something dick, like, yo, like I hate admitting the fact that I seen this dude's dick, bro.
No mames, way.
Well, yeah, bro. I'm telling you, it's like a porn, bro. Like he's banging.
I would have thought it was like a banging where you're at an angle where you can't see everything.
No. Like, nah. He's. I think his point was to show, because that was like, I think that's how he sold it. You know, he talked about it and he made it such a big deal that people wanted to go see it. Yeah. Just for that simple fact, right?
It's a marketing genius.
So there was this one he was on this one podcast, he was on a Spanish podcast like in Mexico, and he was telling him about how he got him installed. You know, he said that he had a homie that had went to prison, and that in prison that's where he found out about it. Like,
I've heard about that.
So yeah, so he was talking about that, and then he said that he got him put in, right? But that he said that he started banging too soon. So then they started. He said it was hurting, and they were coming out of place, right? They were, they were not permanent yet, right? They were not ready to be doing all that, right? Jesus. So then he went through a couple. I think he went through it twice before they finally stayed where they were supposed to stay, and it didn't hurt no more, right?
And this is you, and because the story that I heard, it was from a podcast that I listened to. It's called wrong to strong or something like that.
Okay.
He went through that process doing it in prison también, way.
What's the deal with that?
I don't know, way. I don't know, but they do it themselves in prison. You know what I mean? Did Babo go to like a surgeon or something?
I think he went to a place.
Okay.
But it's like supposedly that's meant to pleasure the women more. You know what I mean? Like it's supposed to pleasure the women more. And I'm just like, damn, bro. Like I don't know. That shit looks painful, bro. Like I don't know about doing any of that, bro. Like,
would you ever do that, dude?
Nah,
if you just
bro.
knew you were gonna be King Kong.
Nah, bro. That shit looks like I don't know, bro. Piercings in anywhere and nah.
You'd probably be only able to fit one pearl.
one pearl.
One pearl.
Damn, bro.
We're out of room.
Put the biggest pearl you got on that.
It's gonna be a fucking speed bump on that.
Nah, man, but yeah, it's different, bro. Like I think if people don't know about it, like they would have to question it, right? Like
Yeah.
I'm sure if a female, like the females he meets, they must have to question, like, yo, what's up with this? Because it's different. It's different.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
It's
you don't know if it's like you know, like an STD or something like that, bro.
warts or some shit.
Bro.
No, you got to know that the girls that which are very attractive women, but the women that Babo attracts, they're different kind of women también, way. They're like very outgoing, like very tatted up, pierced up. You know,
They about that life.
They're about that life. You could tell they look like Hollywood, bro. You know, their hair, they're all about the fashion. They're all about tats. They're all about piercings. They probably got their own stuff going on down there too. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
I don't know, man. Piercings and privates, bro. Like that sounds like painful.
people say it changes your whole life, man.
Yeah, I guess, bro.
They say once you do that, you can never go back to being normal way. That's why I don't try it way. I'd rather not. But you know, it's shout out to them way. I think El Babo's I think a Cartel de Santa partner that he had is very similar to
Darius.
Darius.
Darius or whatever.
Very similar to his lifestyle way.
Mm-hmm.
Like his wifey, she's like, you know, she's all like about that life también way. You know what I mean? He be with other models. I think, like I said, way very similar to Babo. You know what I mean? So, it's just them. They're different kind of people. Way it's
They
very
live that rock star lifestyle.
yeah.
bro.
The rock
It's
star.
like valiendo madres, right? Like everything goes.
Yeah. And like to us, it's like, what the fuck, fool? Like, no mames, way. You know, but there's some girls that the ones que les gusta eso, that's like a damn, that's just fucking hot.
Yeah, nah, it's a different lifestyle, bro.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's a different lifestyle, man. So,
Pero si le queda, way. I haven't seen his stuff, way. I'm talking about his lifestyle, si le queda, way. You know, his music to his looks to his I'm guessing OnlyFans now. It fits his lifestyle, way.
I mean, I think he's capitalizing on that, you know, because it's easy for women to, good-looking women to create an OnlyFans and start getting paid, right? So I'm guessing he wants to capitalize on that too, bro. You know, some dudes, if you got it, you gotta, you know, capitalize on it, man. So that's that situation, man. So I think that song was all right, bro. I'm not gonna lie. That song wasn't the best, right? Yeah. I think this song right here, the one we started off with, it's a lot catchier. You know, it's a lot catchier. Some more you can vibe to, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, man. That's what's going on with Babo, man.
Yeah. We kind of just stumbled across a song and we're like, fuck it, let's start with that song. You know what I mean? It's not like we planned this conversation.
Yeah.
Unless Smiley was watching that video on the drive here.
Nah. I watched it, bro. Like I'm telling you, that was going so viral on TikTok that like it was like every other video I'm just seeing and people are making big deal about it. I'm just like, man,
do you think women?
Let's see what's up with this.
Do you think women are low key like men? You know what I mean? Like, let's just say you hear that Black China or Kim, there's a sex tape that was leaked. You know, men, you're gonna kind of go look for it. You know what I mean?
I mean, we all went and looked for the original Kim Kardashian video.
Do you think women go look for El Babos and keep it on the low? Like,
I'm sure. Like, yo,
let's edit this, man, so our girls don't be like, ¿Y quién es El Babo, pues?
I'm sure, bro. Like they say, bro, girls are just like dudes, but they're just a lot more low key about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, man, that's the situation there, bro. But yeah, man,
What you been up to, Smiley? You know, last episode we had to record on the Zoom because you were going through the Rona.
the Rona got me again, man. But I'm back.
Now we back in the studio in the flesh.
Back in the studio, man. You know, it feels good to feel better again, bro. Like I had, stuck at the crib. You can't go nowhere. Just you kind of feel guilty because the kids are kind of also locked up and you can't go nowhere, man. But
Especially with the weather getting a little better, right?
yeah,
But
it's getting better.
you know what's crazy? What they say about when you're like sick. Like just imagine Corona, because I've had it too. Way they say when you let go of your health, way. Just imagine waking up like that every day or living your life like that. You know what I mean? It's like
No. When you're sick with the Rona, like it like reminds you of how much you should appreciate good health, right? Like
yeah,
even sometimes when we drink, right? You drink and you wake up with a hangover, you
yeah,
got a headache, you feel sick, you feel tired, and you know like it's just I'm gonna get rid of this cruda like in a couple hours after
yeah.
I eat and take a couple ibuprofen or whatever. But it's like when you have the Rona, you take pills, you sleep, you going through it, and you feel like you're just not feeling better, right? And then you're just like, damn, like I just wish I could feel normal, right? So then you just appreciate like your health, bro. So
Yeah.
like now, like when I got better, man, just waking up feeling good, it's like, dang, this it feels good, like not being sick, man.
Yeah.
So honestly, that first weekend that I was sick and that I was actually starting to feel better, I didn't even drink that weekend because I was like, I've been waking up tired and just like with pain and aches and headaches. Like I'm not gonna drink and then add the same headaches and
Yeah.
all that to myself. So I was like, I'm gonna take a break and just feel good for a while, man. But been feeling better, bro. So I was like, man, I told my girl like let's take the kids out somewhere different, man. Let's do something different. And I had heard about this mall, man. They had made this mall. It's called Asia Mall, right?
Asia.
Asia. It's just called. I thought it was like Asian Mall, the Asian. Well, I'm sure people say the Asian Mall, but it's just called Asia Mall. I had heard it a couple years ago. I had read about it a little bit, and it was like it said something about like 10. It's like 10 Asian investors, bro. Like the top dogs aquí in Minneapolis, Minnesota. They got together, bro, and they wanted to like create a mall strictly for Asian shops, Asian restaurants, Asian markets, and Asian everything, right? But they wanted to do it in a different way, like not like your typical Asian, or even like the Latino markets. You go down to like we go to El Bazaar and all that,
Mercado.
and then, yeah, they're kind of like they're dope and everything, right? But they're like more like that city. It's like that city vibe, right? So we went and check it out, and this is more like it's more like a real mall, but it has that Asian culture to it, right? So everything's Asian, right? It has like the restaurants are Asian, the market's Asian, and then they're gonna have like beauty parlors and all that kind of stuff. They have like all kinds of like businesses, like insurances and all that, and it's all Asian, right? It has like the English lettering, and then it has like the Asian writing at the bottom too. So it feels like a Chinatown type of thing.
Is it Hmong or is it just mixed with all different types of Asians?
So when I read that thing on I don't know if it was a newspaper or online. I think it must have been online. From what I remember, it was like Hmong. It's like Hmong investors, right? But then you go to like you see some restaurants and it says like Korean this or like Vietnamese this. So I don't know if it's
That's pretty dope.
Original Vietnamese or original Korean, or if it's owned by Hmong people, but they I don't
Rent
know.
it out.
But
Is it a new building? Did you say that?
it used to be a sporting goods building, like Gander Sporting Goods.
Oh, so it's big.
Yeah, it's big, and they I think they made it a point to put it in a nice area. It's in Eden Prairie. So for people that don't know about Minnesota, Eden Prairie is like the rich side of the Twin Cities, right? Like it's on the outskirts of Minneapolis, but it's like in the burbs, but it's like one of the top burbs, right?
Your regular city buses don't go that.
Yeah.
that
No, they don't.
Eden
So
Prairie, I know they work it with the city that is like, nope, we don't want bus 5 and bus 22 going nowhere near here.
not just buses, but the light rail.
Oh yeah. They fought against that, right?
So it's like that's that's how that's how much they want to keep that area like
Colorless.
yeah, I guess you could say, right? But they want to keep it not easily accessible from people from the city, right? Um, but anyways, man, it was cool, man. So when we got there, it was packed. The parking lot, like it's one of those. It was one of them things where you have to like spin around the fucking parking lot to find a spot, bro. Is that it was that packed, and it was like good to see other people from different cultures, right? Because I'm like, man, like, are we gonna be the only Mexicans in there, or like the only different ones in there?
You guys look kind of Asian though.
But
Especially if you were wearing your glasses, way.
yeah, that's why I didn't wear glasses. I'm like, they might want to start talking to me a Hmong or something. So when we got there, bro, you saw Asian people there, you saw Middle Eastern people, you saw other Latinos there, you saw a lot of Asian people there, and it was really cool, man. It was just like a way to like show your kids a different culture and ourselves experience a different culture. And just hang out, man, and just see how different people do things and all that. So it was cool, man. You know, I've been wanting to eat some pho, you know, so I was like, man, I know they're gonna have a good spot there, bro. So they did. The
I've
food was
never
good.
had that way.
You have,
Have I?
yeah,
Okay, I don't remember that.
yeah, you have.
Must have not been that great.
It's that noodle stuff that that Mo's girl makes.
Oh, okay. So that's pho. Okay.
That's pho.
Okay.
Yeah. So they had that, and then they had it was cool, man. They had the market, and we bought different snacks and different treats and stuff that I don't know, they're Chinese or Japanese. I don't know. I didn't even check, but they're from Asia, right? And just kind of like experimenting, right? Just experimenting different things, man. So that was cool, man. I thought it was cool. The kids had a good time, man.
Do they have security up in this joint?
They do got one in the parking lot, but
Oh, yeah?
not inside. Not inside. Everyone in there's. It's like a very cool, laid back vibe, bro. Like no one's, like everyone's there to have a good time, right? Like no one's there to like. I mean, obviously, I hope people don't go to regular malls to start shit, but it's like everyone's there just to have a good time, man.
That's what's up, man.
So it was cool, man. It was a cool experience, bro.
That's what's up, bro. Like showing your kids different cultures. Yeah, man. That's something we all need to do. We
Just because in the ways like they experience a different culture. And they have an idea of how sometimes people might feel when they experience our culture. You know what I mean? Like I told my daughter, man, like, cause she's 6 years old. You know, my son, he's still little. He don't understand much. You know, like certain conversations, I should say. So I told my daughter, like, hey, make sure you don't stare at people, even if they're talking different languages. Don't stare. Don't be like, just like, don't be nosy, right? And she's like, okay. I'm like, yeah, because people might see that as like you're all in their business, or you thinking that they're weird or something like that. Just don't stare.
So what makes you tell your daughter that? Is that from a previous situation where you're like, oh, like she's staring a little too hard? Next time I gotta like prep her before we go somewhere.
I think the reason why I'm conscious of that is because I see how some white kids and some white people stare at other cultures. So when I was young, you know, I'd be like, man, white people are always just nosy and just in people's business and always trying to like, you know, thinking people are talking about them just because they're talking different language. Yeah. But in reality, it's just sometimes they're not used to a different culture. So they're just kind of like, oh, like, I've never seen that culture before. Like, oh, why do they wear that? Or why they do this? Why, you know, so like when you're young, you see it as like, what the fuck, man? Why the fuck they're always trying to be in people's business? But it's just, sometimes you're just curious, right?
Yeah. Especially
kids, right? So we had went to Applebee's like last week for my sister's birthday. And that was a reminder right there, right? So we were in Applebee's, and then there was like an African group, right? And the African group, they had like, the girls had like their hair and like braids, right? But like them thick braids that are like
locks or whatever.
I don't even know what they're called, right? But they're like just braids, thick braids. Yeah. They're not just your regular like skinny braids. They're just like really thick braids, and they're like in their like cultural dresses and stuff like that. And like the parent, there was like a white family there, right? Like the parents, the grandparents, and then their kids, and then the kids just kept staring at them like. And then I'm just kind of, I'm like, I know that was gonna happen. I'm like, I know that they're either the parents are gonna stare or someone's gonna stare, right? And then like
You were staring.
I was observing the situation. So
You
then
were staring at the stairs.
there was a whole lot of staring going on. So then I was like, yeah, so that's exactly how I don't want my kids to be like, oh, they're different, like, and just be staring all crazy, right? So, and like at the same time, I know it's not wrong, but it's just I don't want my kids to be like that, to just react that way. So that's why I prep my daughter not to behave like that.
Have you seen your kids react to anybody like looking at them a little too long or staring? Or how have they reacted if you did?
I don't remember, right? I don't remember, but like that's why like I always make it a point to go to places that are like diverse, right? Like there's a mall close to my house that there's a lot of different cultures.
That place hood.
Yes, right. So it's like everything, right? It's like Asian, Latinos, there's black people, but then there's African people, and they get to be around everything. So they see everything. Yeah. They're around everything, and I never want them to be like caught off guard. Or I never want them to grow up in a way of like, oh, I've never been around them. Like I'm nervous or like I don't. Yeah. Like when you're around people or areas that you're not used to, people get scared, right? So I don't want my kids to grow up scared of anybody just because they never grew up around them or never were around that. So
it's good it's good to expose them to everything, like to multicultural, and us living like now in a mostly like white area. Even that, to me, like the other day I took my daughter to Target Week just to go play in the aisles with the toys and shit, let her do her thing. When we were leaving, I was just gonna buy her chocolate because that's what she wanted, and then we were in line, and the dude in front of us, he was like looking at her. I'm pretty used to like people like looking and being like, oh, hi, or cute baby, but I didn't say nothing, or I didn't look. I just wanted to see her reaction, and she just kind of was a little timid, and then she just said like hi. You know what I mean? I was like, okay, like she kind of stepped up to it, Little did I know, homie just wanted to like buy the chocolate for us. You know what I mean? He's all like, hey man, is that all you're getting? I was like, yeah, she wants a chocolate. And he's like, come on, man. Yeah, I got you guys, man.
How were you dressed, man?
What you mean?
How are you dressed that this man felt like he needed to help you out?
I'm always fresh.
Fresh out of work. That's how you were looking.
Bro, look at me. I'm fly, bro.
Put you on his YouTube channel and everything, man.
He's all like, can we take a selfie now?
Oh, shit.
For the Instagram. Helped out a little brown family.
Now that's cool, man. It's cool when people do stuff like that. Like I've been to like Taco Bell, right? I know that as a Mexican, you shouldn't be too proud of going to Taco Bell, right? But I think it's happened to us twice. Like me and my girl and like the kids were ordering food, and then like the people in front of us will pay for our food.
And this is in the drive-thru?
Yeah, drive-thru.
Oh, okay. That's less awkward. You know what I mean? I hate to be awkward personally, but I wasn't like super awkward. I was just kind of thrown off, and I was like, bro, you don't got to do that. He's all like, come on, man. It's for the baby. You know what I mean? I was like, all right, cool. I appreciate that. And then his girl was like, oh my God, that's so nice. Have a good Sunday. And the cashier was like, oh my God. It was, again, I live in a very, very, there's happy people around.
But that's what a good deed causes. It causes a chain reaction of
heartwarming
of good emotions, right?
I left with a smile. I was like, oh God, I love the burbs.
It's like it creates such a good vibe, and that could happen anywhere. And I think it just takes good people to start that, right? It's just a chain reaction, like when they say pay it forward, right? Like someone buys you some, you can turn around and be like, well, let me pay for the car behind me, and then things like that, right? And eventually someone has to stop. But
and I think like I said, I caught. Well, I didn't catch, but like I noticed that he was looking at us, or even like my daughter, right?
Yeah.
I could have been a culero, like, well, what's this motherfucker looking at? You know what I mean? Like kind of put myself in a more like intimidating stance, or like, looking at him or some shit like that.
What's your intimidating stance, man? Show me it.
I mean, business, bitch. but I just played it cool way. You know what I mean? You gotta just relax. You're always ready for anything. But
Yeah.
you gotta just be more chill, and sometimes good things happen like that. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
that's cool way. I love to see that shit way, because not for myself way, but like for my daughter way, because it's like, hey, like we grew up thinking, we're not gonna get too deep into it way, but we grew up having stereotypes or our own biases towards people, even our own people, or we kind of already like thought this is how this person is, or this is what's gonna happen. They're looking at us like because of this. They're probably judging us because we're poor, because we're brown.
Yeah, we've experienced certain experiences that have molded us a certain way.
Yeah, and that's what I mean though. It's good to let things happen, because I don't want her. I don't want my experiences to block her experience from her just being like, hey, we're all just fucking people. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. No, that's facts, man. That's facts. Have you seen the new Wakanda Forever, man?
Wakanda.
Have you seen it?
Yeah, I did. Wait, I did.
It's pretty good, right?
It's alright.
Have you finished it?
Yeah.
Okay, I haven't finished it.
I haven't finished it either way.
Why are you lying,
Well,
bro?
like we watched the whole thing way, but towards the end, I kind of passed out.
Oh, okay. So yeah, man. So I've been wanting to watch it, right? But with little kids, it's hard to go to the theater sometimes. You got to actually schedule a whole date night for stuff like that.
What? You can watch it on...
Well, I know. But that's what I said. I've been wanting to watch it.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
So I was happy when it finally came out
No te dejan salir a ti de tu casa, ¿verdad?
I ain't gonna go watch it by myself, man. But so I told my girl, I'm like, you think our she's old enough to watch it? And she's like, well, I don't know. It's up to you. I'm like, and I was like, I think they're old enough to watch it because, like I know her cousins have already watched it, right? So I'm like, I don't want it to be too left out. You know what I mean?
That's how it starts.
I know that's a dumb way to see things, right? But that's how I felt that day. And then so we started watching it. My girl, she fell asleep. My son fell asleep on the couch, and it was just me and my daughter. We were just hanging out, man. It was cool. It was just me and her hanging out, watching a movie together. And it's like she's at the age now where she can actually like pay attention and know what's going on. But one thing that she was doing is she was talking a lot through the movie.
Oh, was she annoying?
This guy. So it was one of those times where it's like, it's not that you're annoying me. It's not that your kid's annoying you, but it's like, it's one of those times where you have to teach him a lesson. Like I'm like, hey, mijita, like I'm your dad. I don't mind you talking to me or asking me questions. I can pause this movie. I'm like, but I just don't want you to be in a situation where you're with your cousins. It could be your cousins, and then they're gonna be like, can you please stop talking? You're annoying. I can't even watch the movie. I'm like, by you talking throughout the movie, you're gonna annoy people, and they might be mean to you about it. And that's why I got to tell you now, so you just know that you're not really supposed to talk through movies because people miss what people say or people miss a scene. And, it was like a lesson, right? Mm-hmm. And then she's all like, oh, okay. But anyway, so we were watching it, and it was funny because she's all like, she was telling me like, Dad, so they killed the other guy on this movie, and then they killed the other guy, and then she was telling me about the first movie, right? And I was like, I don't know, I don't remember it. It's been a while since I watched the first one. And she's like, yeah, they killed him. The other guy killed him, and this. And I'm like, okay, how do you know? And she's all like, oh, it's because my cousins told me about it. I'm like, oh, okay. And then like another scene happened, and she's like, oh, this happened because of this. And I'm like,
you watched it.
I'm like, wait a second, you watched the first movie already, huh? And she's like, yeah. And I was like, you watched it at your cousin's house? And she's like, yeah. I'm like, why don't you just tell me that? And then she's like, well, I don't want you to be mad.
She gave herself up.
And then I'm just like, no, it's cool, I'm like, but I watched it a long time ago, so I don't remember. So that made me realize, right? Like, it's funny how we always have like, there's always that tia or that tío that's a little more loose with the rules at their house with their kids, right? So
well, even not just loose with the rules. It's just everybody has different standards. You know what I mean? Not in a bad way. I just mean like what you think my child's not ready for it, they think different. You know what I mean? We all just have different things.
Yeah, so that's the situation here. At her tia's house, they're cool with it. Like, oh, the movie's not bad. It's a superhero movie, right? So she watched it up there and all that. So it was kind of funny how she was trying to hide it from me, but the truth came out. And then we're watching it, right? And it was kind of funny because the Mexicans came out, right? The Aztecs came out, and then
Which was kind of random, but yeah.
Yeah, and then she's like, oh, who are they? And I was like, yeah, I'm like, oh, they're the Aztecs, man. They're like the Mexicans, but like back in the day, a long time ago. She's like, oh, so we used to look like that? I'm like, yeah, we used to. That's how we used to look, that's how we used to dress. And then she was like, so we used to be blue, bro. I was laughing. I started laughing like, no, me that we were not blue.
Yeah.
I'm like, we that's just how we used to look. We
Yeah.
were like very like native looking. We were very like the clothes that they're wearing and all that, the language that they're speaking. Like that's how we used to look. And she's like, oh, and then I was like, yeah, we weren't blue. I'm like, and we never lived underwater. Because again,
didn't have little wings.
Yeah, I'm like again, my daughter's 6 years old. She barely found out Santa's not real this past Christmas.
Oh, damn it!
So it's like that made me realize, like, man, you need to be very like clear with what you're telling your kids. You gotta you gotta really break it down, because sometimes you might be like, oh, that's how we used to be, and then you think that they know that they should already know that what we were, and not assume that we were like all that extra stuff,
Yeah.
So that was kind of funny, man. So I broke it down to her, and then she was like, oh, this and that. And yeah, man, the movie was pretty cool, man.
Yeah.
I think it's pretty cool in the way, I haven't finished it, right, but I think it is cool in the way that they gave the reason why the Aztecs live underwater and why they became like underwater people. And when the Spaniards were just killing off the Aztecs, and they were killing them off with diseases and everything, and they had to figure out a way to survive. So then, I'm not going to spoil it for people that haven't watched it, right? But it's like that's how they managed to do something that they were able to live underwater, and it was cool. Like the whole way the whole reasoning behind it, I thought that was pretty cool, man. So
That's dope, man.
so it's a good movie, and I think it's a good representation for Black people and Latinos and Mexicans. It's like it puts us on the big screen, and it puts us on this big movie that everyone's talking about. So
one of the biggest. You know what I mean? So whoever had the idea to throw some raza up in there, man, shout out to you. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, definitely need to watch that movie again. Way. I watched it around my kid way, but she's too busy on her playing with her games or her own iPad. But the thing I like is I didn't see nothing, no sexual stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There was none of that. A little bit of fighting here and there. They don't even show no gruesome, like, you know what I mean? So it's family friendly way to an extent way. Have you watched Avatar?
Not the new one. Is it out?
Yeah.
Is it on Disney too?
La neta no sé, güey.
Oh. Nah, I haven't watched that one. I need to watch that one too.
Yeah,
but
I want to watch that.
But yeah, man, that's just a little bit, man. A little bit what's been going on in the household, man.
In la casa.
But yo, Lazy, set it off, man.
Let's get into this podcast. Yo, mi gente, you are now tuned in to Pura Cultura Sin Censura, and this is your boy Lazy,
and now I'm Smiley,
and together we are the Mexi Twins.
Yeah, man. Yo, it's time to address some things, man. There's a lot of shit that's been going on this week, right?
There's some misunderstandings, way, and when people accuse us of doing some dirty, snaky, scandalous shit,
scandalous ass food.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm a scandalous ass vato, way, but not in those terms, way.
Yeah, so I think it's just a big misunderstanding, man. So I think it's only right that we address it, we talk about it.
Some people might not even know what we're talking about, but it's worth mentioning to the people that seen some shit that's been going on social media and shit.
Yeah, so first of all, let's just set it off with it all started off with the clips that we've shared on social media on IG about George Lopez, some of the things he said about Paul Rodriguez, some of the things that he recently said about Ralph Barboza, and then we've also shared some clips on Felipe's podcast when he had Paul Rodriguez on there, and he had some stuff to say about George Lopez también, So it all started with those clips that we have shared on our social media. there's actually 2 podcasts out here that are not too happy about us sharing stuff, you know. We're not gonna, I don't know if we'll mention all of them, man, but you know, let's just start off with what the problem is here.
Yeah.
So first of all, the reason why we started our podcast, Pura Cultura Podcast, is
Sin
because
censura.
we've always felt like there's a lot of stuff that goes on in the culture and it gets overlooked. It doesn't get talked about enough, and it doesn't get addressed enough. You know, there's certain conversations, there's certain situations that need to be talked about, and that we want to talk about, and we want to see people talk about.
Yeah.
And when we talk about it, it creates a conversation around us también, and it gets people talking about stuff that goes on in our culture and our community, man. So that's why we started the podcast. You know, sometimes the conversations are gonna be good. Sometimes they're going to be bad, and sometimes they're going to be ugly. But it's like, that's what's going on in our culture. If we don't talk about it, who the fuck is going to talk about it?
Yeah.
So it's like, sometimes some of our people might not look the best. Sometimes some of our people might fuck up and say some crazy shit. But sometimes they might do some really dope shit. Either way, we're sharing it all. If you do some dope shit, we're going to highlight it.
Yeah.
If you come out, say some crazy shit, we're gonna share it, and we're gonna highlight it too.
We're gonna talk about it.
We're gonna talk about it. It's like that's what podcasting is for. It's like this is a platform for us to give our peace of mind on situations and on stories that are going on around our community, because for far too long things happen in our community and there's like no one ever talks about it. Shit gets swept up under the rug. There's no explanations. There's no apologies. There's no nothing.
You can't talk about it because if you talk about it, you're soft. If you talk about it, you're a chismoso. If you talk about it, you're a cloud chaser. If you talk about it, you know, it's all that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, what the fuck, bro? This is the business we're in. We're podcasters. We're supposed to talk.
Yeah. And when we started being podcasters, no one signed up to be journalists. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Some people try to give different job titles out here. Bro, this is podcasting, homie. I ain't no fucking journalist out here. But yeah, so some people aren't too happy of some of the clips we shared because some people call it cloud chasing. Some people say that we're out here just trying to damage people's names, and it's not the case. It's just things that happen, and we feel like then we need to talk about, and people. I feel like people would want to see. We feel like people would want to see, and we want to see people's reactions and feedback to it.
Yeah.
And it's like, if people feel comfortable, and I guess this is like a FYI or whatever. If people feel comfortable sharing certain content and certain stuff on your platform and on your YouTube channels, then you should feel comfortable with someone taking a clip from it and sharing it or having a conversation about it.
Yeah.
Because that's what we do. When people do this type of stuff in different cultures, in the black community, in the white community, in the Asian community, when they talk about different podcasts or different content from the other platforms, I highly doubt, especially in the black community, because we see that all the time. People talk about certain content and no one's fighting over why are you sharing my content, why are you talking about the interview that was on my podcast. Like, on the contrary, people are happy.
Yeah.
Please talk about my podcast.
Share my video.
Share my videos. Talk about the interview that was on my podcast and direct people my way.
Put my face out there, bro.
It's like that's what people normally react, how people normally react, and how we felt everyone would react, right? Because if when we share these clips, you know, we've shared them on IG first, you know, and I shared them, and it's like, yeah, I take my time and I edit some of them and I cut them up to be a little more compressed and get the information a little quicker, because sometimes a conversation might be a little long, so you gotta, you know, cut it up in a way for people to get the information a little quicker, because we already know people on social media got short listening span, or short attention span, I should say.
Yeah.
So you got to give the information quick.
They don't want a video that's 5 minutes long. They ain't clicking that shit.
Right. So I take my time. I cut up some of the videos sometimes. I never cut it up in a way to make someone look fucked up. I always cut it up in a way just to get quicker to the conversation. And obviously, I don't do some weird editing to put words in people's mouth or change the narrative on anything.
Yeah.
So what I've noticed is that people were taking videos off of our page and sharing them on their platforms, sharing them on their TikToks, sharing them on their social medias, and that's cool. Like, I'm not mad at it, but it's like, okay, I took my time to edit some of this. Like, I probably should have put our tag on there, so when people reshare them and when people repost them, or when people, all that, like, we put our name out there también. It's like, that's anyone that knows about social media knows that whenever you share any content, whether it's yours or other people's content, you throw your tag on there, just so people know who shared it and all that, or who started that conversation, or who, any of that, right? So when I noticed that people were sharing our videos, and it was, I could see the cuts on I could see the edits on the videos, and I knew they were mine. I'm like, oh fuck, I fucked up. I should have put our tag on there, and our video would be rotating, or our name would be rotating every time people share them.
Because it's not like we're saying, hey, we're stealing your content so it could look like it's ours. We're saying, hey, we brought you these clips. We brought you this news of some sort. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Like, we're bringing you this news.
Yeah,
like, we're breaking this news.
Like, the only thing that we were trying to show with these handles is like, we're the source that brought you this. You know what I mean? We're not the source that created it. You could see who's talking about it. I'm not sitting there. Smiley's not sitting there. That's not what we're saying. It's just like TMZ. TMZ. It's just like
World Star Hip Hop,
World Star, Shade Room, y todos ellos, güey. It's just like them. All they're showing you is like, hey, when you want to know about something, they're the source that brings it, or they're the source that you want to know what the community's talking about. Go check out Pura Cultura podcast, because they have those clips, and then people are having those conversations, and it creates a like a little community where you have different perspectives. Way there's raza that on the clips that we're talking about, the George Lopez, Paul Rodriguez, and Ralph Barboza. There's two different perspectives from people. Some people are saying, hey, I get it, boom, boom, boom. I understand George. Some people are saying, no, that's fucked up, man. I'm with Paul Rodriguez. That's all we're creating is a space where people can have these conversations. Because on other platforms, like even George Lopez or Felipe's, the platform that his podcast, they're not having those conversations there. You know what I mean? And yes, they're having the whole interviews and they're having those episodes. That's theirs. But in their comment section, that specific clip or that specific conversation did not get broken down to where people are talking about that issue or that situation. All we're doing is creating a space where people can have those conversations. Like,
it's kind of like, in case you missed this, this is something that happened, or this is something that have been said. Because in the Latino community, we've always wondered why do certain Latino comedians, why don't they work together? Why don't they get along? And it's like, that's a big question that we've always had, because we've always been big fans of George Lopez. We've been fans of Paul Rodriguez. We've been fans of everybody, right? Like, George Lopez has had a bad rep, right? That they say, oh, he doesn't help out La Raza. He's done some fucked up shit. Like, we don't know that. We don't know him personally. We don't know that personally, right? So we still enjoy his content. We still enjoy all that. Paul Rodriguez had recently came out that he was a Trump supporter, So it's like,
which it bugged us.
It bugged us, and we talked about it. But it's like, I can't deny the fact that I don't still think that his stand up on Latin Kings of Comedy is one of the best stand-ups that I've seen,
or the fact that if he shows up to an interview, most likely we're gonna tune in and listen to it.
Exactly.
Even if he did piss us off,
right?
We don't share, like, even when Paul Rodriguez came out as a Trump supporter. Yeah, I threw some shots at him, but it wasn't to like cancel Paul Rodriguez. You know what I mean? It's just like, oh, that motherfucker. But if I see an interview with him, I'm still going to go listen to it. You know what I mean? Right. I'm still, at the end of the day, in his own way, he's still representing La Raza, and I can't be mad at that. Yeah. Just like with George right now. We didn't share these clips so people could cancel him. I thought we all agreed that we're not for cancel culture. You know what I mean? I thought Latinos didn't rock with cancel culture. Now people want to cancel George Lopez. That was never an intention, and that was never a conversation that we wanted to have. The main point with that clip of George Lopez was, why do Latinos continue to not support other Latinos. It wasn't, why does George do this? Hey, George is a hater. Yeah, that came later with all the backlash that came from the clip because yeah, even George realized that he sounded fucked up, which you also shared, or we also shared the apology that George Lopez did to Ralph Barbosa. You know what I mean?
Right.
So we're not just sharing the bad shit and being like, oh, we're not going to show the apology. Like, yo, we also want to let you guys know George Lopez apologized. Ralph Barbosa, as a man, they both had a conversation. They had an agreement. They're cool. They shared information, and they're moving on, cool with it.
Yeah.
And to be honest, a lot of raza still pissed off, you know, because it's understanding. We go through this with other people as well. A lot of people are saying it's a fake apology. It's only because of the backlash. Still fuck him. Still cancel him. You know, I never said to cancel George Lopez. That's not something that I'm trying to do.
Yeah, I don't think we don't promote cancel nothing.
No.
You know, we don't. We just talk about things that happen. If people want to take it to another level out of their own personal beliefs, then that's on you. But we don't jump on here and be like, let's cancel this person now, let's cancel that person now. You know, like we just share about what was said, what was done, and then you know, we go about that. But it's like,
and that was a good outcome though. Just to finish that off, there was a situation where George Lopez said something that he said that he was just talking shit. Y se pasó. Okay, there was a backlash. He held himself accountable, or he was held accountable. He apologized as a man. A lot of raza, we know we're machistas as fuck. A lot of us would be like, fuck it, I ain't gonna say sorry to that dude. No, he decided to say, I'll take that. That was my bad. He apologized. That's a lesson within itself. You know what I mean? We fuck up. Our fans or our community holds us accountable. We correct that. We say, yo, my bad. That was fucked up. Moving forward, I'm gonna keep that in mind, and I do not want to ever put myself in that situation again. You know, and then we move forward. It's not like never support George Lopez again. Nah, we never said that. You know what I mean? So I just wanted to make that clear that it's okay when somebody apologizes. It's okay to forgive people. It's okay to move on.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, también is like, it's not just sometimes when you want to cancel one person, is like a lot of people get affected by it. You know, like when people are like cancel everything he does, it's like, damn, now you guys are talking about canceling his show that's employing a lot of Latinos in there también. Yeah. So
and his daughter, you know, his daughter has nothing to do with what George said.
So it gets very tricky in there. Then
you got little Bryce from Inky Boys. You know what I mean? It's like, yo, do you guys? Because I'm not part of that. But do y'all really want to cancel a show that's providing a career for little Bryce that has a bright career in front of him? George Lopez's daughter that has a full career ahead of her. Like, nah, come on, man. Like, let's not let our own pride and ego affect our community. You know?
George Lopez apologized to Ralph Barbosa. You know, Ralph Barbosa went on the podcast with Andrew Schultz, and he talked about the phone call he had with George and how George apologized for the conversation, and all that. As men, as grown men, they talked about it, they squashed it, and that's dope. You know, that's dope to see. And like we already mentioned, you know, it's all about how it's all on the people and how they take it from here. The apology was done. Ralph accepted it, and you know, that's when, you know, people can choose to move on. And I know that's new to our community about forgiving and forgetting, man. But it's all on everyone, man. But
just gotta move on.
But yeah. But one thing that was you know, they had a pretty good conversation on that podcast with Andrew Schultz, and they were talking about who he looked up to as comedians as he was growing up, right? Excuse me. And one thing that Ralph was saying was like, he didn't grow up like listening to Latino comics, right? He didn't grow up looking up to George or Paul or any of the other comedians, and
not even Fluffy,
not nobody, right? So, and there's one thing, and that was a new thing for us, right? Because we're always used to seeing like a Latino person come out and be like, oh, I looked up to this person and I always respected this person because they they laid down the foundation or they cracked the door open for Latino comics or the Latino artists or Latino.
I saw myself on the big screen
Yeah,
on the screen, period.
So we always saw it as that. But just as we get older and sometimes you gotta start understanding things different, right? And I started thinking to myself, man, because I remember I would always think like when like Latino rappers, Chicano rappers with Latino Chicano descent would come out and be like, yo, when I came out, when I was growing up, there would be in interviews and people would ask them, so who do you look up to growing up or who were you listening to growing up? And they would always be like, oh, I was listening to Tupac, I was listening to Ice Cube, NWA, Biggie, Jay-Z, and
Wu-Tang.
And I would always be like, why aren't you naming Latino rappers? Why aren't you naming Frost? Why are you not naming Lighter Shade of Brown or
Little Rob
and none of that? Because we're so, just because we, from what I'm understanding now, just because we feel like that's who you should have been looking up to, that doesn't mean that that's who you should look up to, or that doesn't mean that that's who you had to listen to growing up. You know what I mean? And that's,
we didn't all have the same experience.
We didn't all have the same experience, and we don't all have the same taste. You know what I mean? Like, if you like New York style rap, well, why wouldn't you like Jay-Z, Wu-Tang, and all them? You know what I mean? Like, what, you're not forced to like Latino rappers just because you're Latino, right? So that's one thing. Just listen to him made me realize, like, we need to stop being so hard on people that might have not had Latino role models, or might have not looked up to the Latinos in their career. You know what I mean? And that's one thing that I was thinking. I was like, oh damn, like, he said he looked up to Chappelle and a couple other comedians that were not Latinos, and I was like, we need to start just respecting the fact that it's not gonna always be Latino related. You know what I mean? Like,
no, fuck that. Nah, just like,
you know what I mean? So it's like it's one of those new things that is like, okay, like, generations start changing. You can't expect them to always have the same role models, the same idols, or all that stuff, man. So,
but look at Barbosa. You could see him and be like, okay, you could believe that. You could take his words and be like, yeah, that's his truth, because he's not going in there, man, when I was growing up, you know what I mean? Yeah. He's not talking like that. He's talking normal,
normal.
Well, he's talking without our Latino accent. Okay. You know what I mean? If he's over there like, yeah, back in my neighborhood with my homies, we used to boom.
You remember,
and then you'd be like, okay, well, you didn't grow up to Latino comics, and you don't want to be considered a Latino comic, but you talk and your mannerisms are Latino comic. You know what I mean? That's not his case. You know what I mean? And I'm saying that because, going back to music, this podcast, for people that have been rocking us for a minute, they know, but the new people, we're heavy into music, heavy into entertainment and all that good stuff. There's Chicano rappers that don't want to be called Chicano rappers, but they look just like Chicano rappers. Yeah. They talk just like Chicano rappers. Mm-hmm. They walk just like Chicano rappers. Quack, quack, motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? But when somebody, like, let's just say Cap G, we shouted him out earlier. If he says he didn't grow up on Chicano hip hop or Latin hip hop, you'll believe him. Yeah. You know what I mean? You'll be like, yeah, I get it. You don't talk like us. You don't walk like us. You still represent for the culture, but you had different influences. And we can accept that and we can understand that. That is, Cap G is kind of like a Barbosa in the comedy. You know what I mean? We can see you and be like, yeah, bro, you're in your own lane, and we still here for you, and we're still rooting for you. We're still rooting for you, and we understand you in a different lane, and we can respect that.
That's true. Yeah, that's true. I guess that's also makes a good point right there. But then like Andrew Schultz, and then there's another comedian that's I forget his name, but he's funny too.
The Indian guy?
The Indian dude. They brought up a really good point that they told Ralph. It was like, yeah, you might have not been a fan of George, and you might have not looked up to him, or you might not see how important his role is in your career. But you know, they schooled him on it. It was kind of like you needed a George Lopez so you could be you. You know, and the way they worded it is you needed a Mexican comedian so you could be a comedian that's Mexican. And don't let that shit go over your heads, man.
Barras, barras, barras.
Like that was some bars dropped by them. You know, we got to recognize when some bars are dropped. What they said was that Ralph Barboza needed a Mexican comedian like George Lopez so he could be a comedian that's Mexican. And what that really means is that George Lopez, he went through a lot of obstacles. He you know, him and the other pioneers, Paul Rodriguez, Fluffy, and a couple of the other guys that were in the game early. They had to take on all that criticism. They had to prove themselves that Latinos can also be respected in that genre, in that profession, in that space.
They had to break the glass ceilings way.
Yeah, and basically it was like they did all that, so now you can be yourself, and you don't have to like go based off of the Latino comic, the Latino experience, and all that. You can go off of your own experience.
Yeah.
And I think that's a very dope thing, and I think that can be said about different categories, different genres. You know, that can also be said in the rap game, right? Like you needed a Kid Frost. Excuse me. You needed a Kid Frost and you needed a Little Rob so you can have a King Lil G. You know what I mean? Like in everything, you needed certain actors. Yeah. You needed Edward James Olmos so you could have
Hector.
To me, man.
Hector.
So you could have a Hector. You know what I mean? No. Let's say this. You needed a
That vato ain't even Mexican,
you needed an Edward James Olmos so you could have a Jay Hernandez, bro. You know, he's over there doing the Magnum
Jay
PI.
Hernandez?
Yeah.
Oh, damn.
Exactly. You needed that.
You needed a... Fuck, I can't even think about it.
So, like, and everything, right? So, like, in podcasting, podcasting is new in the Latino community, right? So, you need everyone all the Latinos that are in the podcast game right now, we're all needed, and we talk about our experiences, and later on, there's gonna be newer generations that are gonna be able to talk about a whole different stuff, because the whole different experiences, because we've already set the foundation. We've already talked about what needed to be talked about. Yeah. We've already have started working on the things that we need to work on as a community, and hopefully by the next generations, they don't got to worry about that shit, and they can just talk about other dope shit and other things that, you know, that are going on at that time. So everything is needed, you know. At
the end of the day, Ralph Barboza needed George Lopez to walk so he could run. Have you heard that saying?
Yeah, I heard that saying too. But it's like,
I like that one better.
So it's like, yeah, like as a reminder to everyone, like you don't need to idolize the people before you, but you should respect the people before you, because without them, your road would be a lot tougher, and people would have to understand where you're coming from a lot more. Like they said, like George already explained the Mexican experience. Paul Rodriguez explained the Mexican experience. Fluffy explains the experience también, the Mexican experience. So it's like now you don't have to explain it because it's already been explained.
Yeah,
everyone knows it already.
You go venture off with other creative ideas.
Yeah, so it's like
I've never heard that podcast, and I didn't watch the whole thing. I just watched maybe 20 minutes of it. Mm-hmm. But I liked how they kept it real. You know what I mean? Like there was a part in there where Ralph did say that he didn't look up to George, or he never even like looked at he never watched his shows, or he didn't. I don't want to say it like this because don't quote me, but he kind of said like I didn't really like his humor or like his jokes. And Andrew Schultz and the other guy said, now you can't say that George Lopez is not funny. You know what I mean? Like they called him out. Like you cannot say that he's not funny. Like the guy is a legend. You know what I mean? So they keep it real. You know what I mean? They're not dudes that are just going to go with it and be like, Oh yeah, I get it. Like nah, like you gotta put respect on his name too.
Yeah, but it's like not going too deep into their podcast, but it's like they say Andrew he kind of understood it in a way too though, because he's like, oh, when people came out saying Richard Pryor is like the GOAT, he's like, I just didn't get it. Like to me, Eddie Murphy was a GOAT. Eddie Murphy was my guy. You know what I mean? So every generation is gonna see a different dude as a GOAT. You know what I mean? So it's like that's what I'm saying. It's like you don't gotta idolize the people before you or everyone before you, but you gotta respect them because they put in some work that was needed to be put in. You know what I mean? So that's just one thing I wanted to talk about, man. And I think it's dope, man, because this whole situation that's happening, it just brought awareness to everything. Like people are gonna be held accountable when they fuck up. Everyone should know that now. So people should be very careful of how they talk about others, especially when we talk about amongst ourselves and trying to help each other out. But it's like we also see how important the Latino conversation is, that a podcast and a comedian like Andrew Schultz would want to quickly get you on his podcast to talk about the situation because they know how important it is to the community and how viral it is or whatever it is, how trending it is, that they wanted to get you on their podcast. So that just shows that the Latino comedians, the Latino culture, the Latino conversation is getting so big that even other people want to get you on their podcast to talk about it because they know it's hot. Yeah. It's a hot topic. Yeah. And that just shows that how we're moving ahead on how important our situations are, man.
Yeah. And everybody saw it way. Everybody that's on social media that's following any kind of news or entertainment news, they saw the conversation that was happening in the Latino community. And that's good way. You know what I mean? Good things came out of this. A lot of us had a conversation. Ralph Barboza became a viral, maybe the most Googled dude for the week. Mm-hmm. George Lopez got held accountable. Maybe he did some self-reflecting. He hit up Ralph Barboza. He said, "Yo, my bad. If you ever need any help, holler at me. I got you."
He indirectly, without trying, he helped Barboza out a lot because a lot of people that didn't know about Barboza now know who Barboza is. So, yo, watch if this is like some crazy ass shit that was set up and we all got played and like Barboza just got like this crazy amount of free promotion.
Nah, get out of here with your damn conspiracy theories.
I was listening to that Gringo Blink podcast. See what's happening to me, man? Fuck, man. But yeah, so just to clear up, man, it's like at no time and no point ever did we ever try to claim another podcast was ours. We got our own podcast. We got our own following base. We got our own listeners that rock with us heavy.
We got our own merch.
You know what
I'm saying?
Like we would never claim another podcast. And we would never try to snatch no one's content like that. Those clips that I've shared from Felipe's podcast, I had shared those since last like September or something like that.
Yeah.
There was no problem. There was no problem until all this stuff went viral, right? So before it went viral, it was no problem.
It was the viral effect.
And then videos go viral. They get a lot of views. And now people want to have a problem with it because maybe they slipped up and they didn't share those clips of their own podcast. That's not our bad. We're sharing information. And as a podcast community, that's what we do. That we talk about things that go on in our community. We talk about things that go on even in the podcast world. If people want to take something from our podcast, if we ever have something that they want to share, go ahead. Like I ain't never gonna be like, why are you sharing my podcast?
That shit got fucking 1 million views, man. Why do you share it? Why don't you tag me? Like, nah, bro. Like, yo, much props for thinking or for seeing some gems or seeing some dope shit or entertainment, and you felt like you wanted to pass that along. Dope, man.
Yeah. So, So yeah, just clearing that up, man. We ain't taking nothing from nobody. And honestly, there ain't no bad blood.
No.
Ain't no hard feelings. It's just a misunderstanding.
Yeah.
You know, like
Yeah.
if people wanna if people wanna take it that way, yo man, I can't do nothing about it if that's the way you want to take it. People created a post about us. They called us scandalous, and accused us of stuff. We commented. We let them know exactly what it was.
Yeah.
If people don't want to, if people rather create a post about us and talk about us on their podcast instead of personally DMing us and trying to figure what's going on.
Yeah.
Yo, man, I can't control what how you guys want to go about things, but
Yeah.
I'm just
Because we could talk.
yeah. So I just want to clear that up.
We could
and
chop
just,
it up.
Just let people know, like, yo, ain't no bad blood, ain't no hard feelings, because that would just be proving the point of how we can't get along.
Yeah.
How ironic would that be, right? How fucked up would that be? Off of a conversation of Latinos not being able to get along and always fighting within ourselves, we created another drama within Latinos now in the podcast world about how we can't get along and we can't help each other out. Nah, we ain't gonna let it go down that way. So if I'm gonna let people know on our end, we ain't trying to go down that route. You know, we ain't trying to create no animosity like that. So if people want to reach out and want to clear things up, yo, we open for that. You know, there ain't no bad blood, ain't no hard feelings.
Yeah.
But if people want to continue it that way, hey, that's you. I can't control how people want to go about handling their stuff. You know, so either way, man, we open for the conversation, man. And before that, you know, there's another podcast out there.
No, but one thing I do want to mention is, yeah, there's no bad blood because nobody was really called out their name. You know, I get cloud chasing and scandalous. You know, that's cool, man. That ain't no biggie.
Those are forgivable.
You know,
forgivable names.
There was no bitch made levas or chavalas. You know, then we might have to fucking, you know, then the conversation might change. You know what I'm saying? So there ain't no bad blood. There's just a misunderstanding. But one of the main things why they felt like they got done wrong was because their handle wasn't on the post that we made. You know what I'm saying? So moving forward, we're new to this shit, you know, because we just created that TikTok that same time you were releasing those videos. Yeah. We are new to TikTok and releasing shit. So they were upset because their tag was not on the post. Mm-hmm. Moving forward, if we take something from Felipe's podcast, your tag will be there too, man. You know what I mean? Because it's not like we're trying to steal your shit. We're just trying to bring content that's worthy of a conversation onto our listening base, onto our own social medias. We're not trying to steal your shit. Everybody can see your guys' faces clearly. We're not blocking your logo with our logos. No dirty shit.
No logos were ever put up there. It was a handle. You know what I mean? Yeah. So yeah, you know, we going at, we learning as we go también, you know. So it's just gonna be like that, man. I guess I got nothing else to say on that. It was also brought to our attention that another podcast was also talking about us for the same fact of us sharing this video, sharing this the content that was that was put out.
Yeah.
You know, we don't like to name drop, but you know, fuck it, man. We're gonna name drop. We've been name dropping this episode. You know, let's just fucking finish it off, right? So, I guess Gringo Bling on this podcast talks some shit about us. You know, he's saying we're also some cloud chasers, that we're trying to stir some shit up, that we're trying to cause drama and no sé qué tanto, which is not the case. Like we've already mentioned, why we bring up these type of conversations and why we bring up this type of content, just to
that's
create.
Just what we do, bitch.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like it was brought to our attention by one of his listeners hit us up. You know, he said he heard that on that fool's podcast. He came and listened to ours, and you know, he says he likes our shit. He's gonna start listening. So shout out to that new fan, that new listener, I should say.
Is he gonna be going back and forth though?
I don't know, man.
Yo, Chingo, yo, Gringo, they talking about you now, playa.
So it's like, no, and it's all good. You know, we ain't trying to hide nothing. You know, so
podcast
it's like,
is just like the streets.
It's grimy, nah, but it's like, that's just what it is. We're gonna have the conversation. So
Yeah.
if people didn't know, now you know. It ain't for anything other than the simple fact that we have to have these conversations in our culture, man, because we always leave these things swept under the rug, and then we wonder why all these emotions and all these bad feelings and stuff build up. It's just because we don't talk about
Yeah.
it. You know what I mean? So um
And
calling it out from the beginning is the best way to do it. That's why we are addressing what's, we're being accused of something here. We're addressing it right away, so we don't let it build up into something that it shouldn't build up
yeah,
to, or that
it shouldn't
it
build up
shouldn't
to.
it shouldn't it
Yeah.
shouldn't build up to.
Yeah.
So it's just because it's just sometimes misunderstandings just go left, right? But
Yeah.
Gringo Bling already knows we don't rock with him. You know what I mean? You can't go from mocking our culture, making fun of our culture for your own capital gain, and then turning around and being a Trump supporter, and then telling people to basically going against immigrants because they're coming to this country to steal jobs, American jobs. That's not what we supported you for, playa.
Yeah.
So that's why we don't rock with you no more. Because if you made money off of the culture and then you want to turn around and tell other cultures, because he was telling the black community not to support Democrats, because Democrats support support like immigration reform, and it's going to cause more immigrants to come to this country and take jobs from the black community. That's creating some divisive
Yeah.
ass shit. We already have enough divisive shit in our communities with the black and the brown, and you stirring that type of shit, that shit
Yeah.
could get dangerous, man. So
Yeah.
that's why we don't fuck with you, we don't rock with you, and we don't even like to talk about you. But we had to bring this up because, like we said,
He name
we
dropped us.
addressing.
Yeah, he name dropped us on his podcast way, and with the wrong information way, because what you said of why we don't rock with him is not the reason that he gave on his platform. You know what I mean? He's trying to correct it and finesse his peoples. That's fine. You know what I mean? Y'all do what y'all do over there, but that is not the reason why we don't rock with you no more. He's making it all political and all that and whatnot. We're talking about who Gringo Bling was at one point in time when he came up in the rap game, what he was promoting, his mockery and all that bullshit, to later come to find out that he doesn't even fuck with us like that. He doesn't even fuck with Mexicans like that.
Mm-hmm.
Now he's over there with talking about a red pill and mocking us even. It's just like self-hatred to the maximum way, and we're not even going to get too deep into it because la neta way, we have listeners from all kinds of backgrounds, and we have listeners that vote for this person or vote for that person. That's none of my business, because you didn't lie to me before. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
there's listeners of ours that could be Republican. There's listeners of us that could be Democrat. You didn't lie to me before. You didn't tell me that you were something else, and I kept buying your stuff and putting money in your business or pockets, and then to come to find out that you were completely something else. Nah, you never did that. So whatever people decide to believe in, your religion, your political views, and all that stuff, that's none of my business. That's none of our business. You know what I mean? Y'all do what y'all do. We talk what we talk. And at the end of the day, I think we can all come to an understanding to a certain extent. You know what I mean? But the reason why
Yeah.
we don't rock with Gringo is because he was faking the funk. You know what I mean? He was being a snake, and he was collecting people's, raza's money, with a whole different intention, behind closed doors.
Like we said, he went from the can de Portazal to build the wall. You know what I mean? You can't do that.
Yeah.
And we said it before. We had talked about this a couple years ago or something like that, when he came out making all the crazy ass statements of why he supports Trump and why he's anti-immigration and anti-immigrants and all that. That was some bullshit. It's like, if people want to be Republican or whatever, we don't care what your political views are. But if you make money off of the culture, and you target the culture, especially the immigrant culture, because he's over here talking about they can deport us all, jumping the border, have the immigration chase him, and doing all this and that. At one point, he was selling merch that said "fuck Donald Trump" and all that, and then turn around and actually be a Trump supporter, and then have anti-immigration statements and views, you're a complete fake, bro. Like that's the fakest you can ever be. So that's why we don't fuck with you, and that's why we say that we said what we said about you, and that's why we calling you out right now, I guess, on that shit, because we're not gonna sit here and let people think that it's like, oh, it's all political views. Like, no, if you make money off of making fun of the culture and all that, and then you want to turn around and completely go against it all, like, nah, bro, that's some snake ass shit.
And for the people that are new, they might not know all this, you know what I mean? But there was a point in time where I had a collection, you know, we had a fogata for this motherfucker, you know what I mean? We had a whole funeral for all the shit that we had of his, you know what I mean? From shirts. I put money in this motherfucker's pocket, you know what I mean? I had a whole case of CDs with all his mixtapes that motherfucker didn't even own anymore. Mm-hmm. You know, I had collector's items that I gladly put in the fire to be like, yo, this shit's garbage. It means nothing. You know what I mean? Yeah. From the started from the border, now I'm here t-shirt that I bought from him at one point, burnt that shit from a bobblehead. You know what I mean? And we're not over here trying to convince anybody to believe what we believe, man. Everybody do what you do. We're just, this is what I can say, way. You know what I mean? We're not always gonna agree on religion, on morals, on political views, on a bunch of shit. What we can agree to is just don't be fake and don't lie to people that you are something that you're not. You know what I mean? If you're telling me that you're something and I believe that and I take you for that and I accept you for that, then that's cool. You know what I mean? But then I come to find out you're not that. Now you played the La Raza way. You played the peoples, and that's why we don't rock with you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, don't play us like some fools, man.
Because we rock with everybody. Way, to be honest, way, we got people be in our DMs from different backgrounds, from different political views. We ain't cursing them out. We cool. We good. Mm-hmm. They didn't lie to me. Yeah, that's you came at me with who you were. All right, bro. I can't be mad at you for keeping it real. It is what it is. You know what I'm saying? So we're going to leave it like that, man. You know, shout out to everybody rocking with us. Shout out to everybody that is tuning in. We appreciate y'all. For the new people and the people that still have not, please go drop a review on the Apple Podcast. Drop us some words. Let us know what you're thinking, how you feeling, and all that good stuff. Also on Spotify, you can drop a review there as well. Let your peoples know. Share the podcast, man. Let's keep this thing moving on up, man, and get this thing popping. And get the merch. Smiley, where can they get the merch that way?
PuraCulturaPodcast.com, man.
You know what I mean?
Hit up the website, man. Check out the merch. Represent the culture out there, man. So shout out to everyone rocking with us, man. We appreciate all the support. And we're going to keep rocking it like that, man. Like we said, Pura Cultura Podcast is all about the culture. We talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly. Don't shoot the messengers, man. We are just bringing the message. We are reporting what's happening in our culture, man. So don't be mad at us, man. You know what I mean? Yeah. So we're going to do it like that, mi gente. Have a dope-ass Monday. Have a dope-ass week. And we'll catch you on the next one, man.
And fuck depression and fuck anxiety, baby. All right. Let's go. Peace.